Yo, what is going on, guys? Today we're playing some more NHL 17. We got more of a discussion type, opinionated kind of video we got here today. I want to share with you guys your thoughts, my thoughts on the NHL 17 / coming into NHL 18 overall rating system. Now I'm in a play now game. We're gonna go jump into a probably display game here in the background here in a minute. But for right now, I want to show you guys the play now screen for it so you can see what I'm talking about. First of all, the Blue Jackets overall is like that because we were just doing a team of all video, and that is their overall because of that team of all video. If that's why you're wondering why they're 96, 94, 89. But if we go through teams here, look at the Penguins. You have a 93 offense, a 92 defense, and an 89 goal. They are our reigning Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row. So you can't even say, well, they didn't put an update out since the Stanley Cup because it was a champs last year. So now let's go through some teams. What's my rep in zombies? I don't play zombies, but if I was a rep, I'd probably be 7.5 stars. So Colorado Avalanche, here's my point right here. A 91 defense for the Colorado Avalanche. One of the arguably worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league. Oh, this guy's an all-star 1. That's close to my 7. But arguably one of the most worst defenses in the league is 1 overall point lower than the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their goalie's 2 overall points lower. It's fine, I guess, because Sermion is a very good goalie, playing in front of a not so great defense. At least I think Varlamov is a pretty solid goalie. People might say against it. But then the Avalanche have an 89 offense compared to the Penguins 93. Now, if you were to go play a game like Madden, who won the Super Bowl? The Patriots. They probably have a 92, 93 overall. And you want to go and look at the worst team in Madden, probably the Browns. They're probably rocking an overall in the 70s. And that is sort of what I'm getting at here is I think that should be more of how NHL's is. It's an overall system and it's a rating system. We're going to dig deeper into the players too, but it's the fact that if you're sitting here, it really has to make you question the realism of the two teams playing. I think I understand why the overalls are like they are, but at the same time, I think they do definitely need to work on them like a lot. Because it's hard to argue with the fact that the Stanley Cup champions should be well over 3 overall, 4 overall points better than the worst team in the NHL. And here is where I think the problem looms. Overall, there's so many guys. These guys are just going ham sandwich with these messages. They don't even know what they're talking about. But I'm in the group chat apparently. Holy cow. Okay, so 88 overall, 88 overall, 87 overall. I get it. You can make the argument. It makes sense why these guys should be a higher overall. But a lot of these guys lower to mid 80s, maybe they should be closer to the 70s, 70, 75 range to actually resemble a lower tier overall on their team. Now, the reason they can't do too low is because they have all these AHL teams that have, say, 60, 70 overalls, but they'd have to obviously lower those players' overalls as well to maybe the 50, 40 range, 50, 60 range. I know it seems ridiculous, but at some point you have to put some sort of relevance, in my opinion, to the actual NHL and their team. It's great to be able to play with a team like the Avalanche and say, well, I still have a chance to beat these guys because they do have a very solid overall team. At the same time, though, when you're playing a game, if one team's dominantly better than the other team, that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Most people, when they play versus, they don't choose the Colorado Avalanche, so that's not really the greatest of excuses. I personally like these my favorite team. There might be other people just like that as well, the Colorado Avalanche, but most people, what do they normally pick? I haven't played versus in a long time. It used to be back in the day you picked Blackhawks and probably, well, Blackhawks, Rangers, Blackhawks, Kings, Blackhawks, even now Blackhawks, Penguins, probably very, very popular picks right there is the Blackhawks and Penguins. So in my opinion, I do think we should see lower overalls at the same time though. I think we should see higher overalls. I know a lot of people, I did a Twitter poll and tried to ask you guys about it, and you guys really unanimously disagreed. I think 80% of you said no and 20% said yes when I asked if Sidney Crosby deserved a 99 overall. I brought it up because, like I said, in Madden, there's guys with 99 overalls. I'm not referring to Crosby having a 99 in Hut. Again, you lower the overalls in Hut, maybe give guys at most a 92 overall, just like they did last year. I kind of like the way they did that. A few other guys could have a little bit lower of an overall. Once again, that'd be one of those cases. I think it's nice to have a team of all 87 overalls that can compete with teams that are 90, 91. But are those 85 overalls supposed to be competitive with Crosby? Let's be honest here. Crosby's the best player in the league. And I know people say, well, then I can't play Hut as much because it's competitive advantage, all this other stuff. Well, there still will be guys with that 86, 87, 88 overall range. And I'm assuming they'd still be fairly decently priced. It all balance out in the end. It happens in other Ultimate teams. It balance out in this one too. If that is a concern, I think we'd be all right in that department. And apparently we're getting solo challenges. Pretty hyped about that. I said I was complaining about it in the other video. Not that I ever complain or anything like that, but I was complaining about that in the other video about NHL 18 features and stuff. but because they didn't put solo challenges in the article, their actual article on the EA Sports website, but apparently NHL.com or NHL's app was posting articles about it, so I guess they do a better job of advertising their game than EA does. I'm not sure. Guess I gotta follow the NHL app for EA Sports NHL 18 news. But I was saying Crosby, 99 overall. I thought it made sense. You look at the best players in every league. There's a reason you're going from 1 to 100. 100 is supposed to be the best. 1, obviously the worst. If Crosby's a 95, then who's the best? In a video game, a 99 overall represents you're the best player, the best in the game. Crosby is the best in the game. I know EA might not realize that because they, once again, did not put him on a cover. I love Connor McDavid and all. I think he's got plenty of time to be on a cover. Crosby just won back-to-back cups, though. He should have got that cover. That is a pretty sick-looking cover. That is one of the nicest-looking covers I've seen in a while. I do like the way they went with that cover. And I swear, I know people probably think I'm tripping, but I swear I seen them tweet that out or retweet it or favorite somebody's tweet with that exact same cover before it was released. I couldn't find it, though. I could not find it at all on their Twitter where it came from. And then, too, if you give guys like Crosby a 99, maybe a guy like Malkin sees a 95, a guy like Erik Karlsson sees a 97, 98. Once again, that spreads out the elite players from these guys that are, say, the mid-tier Patrick Hornquist of the league that are an 87 overall. They really shouldn't be, as much as I hate to say it, Patrick Hornquist, you should not be considered in the same league as a guy like Tyler Seguin or Jamie Benn. What's Tyler Seguin? Is he a 92 overall, 91, 92? Only 5 overall points better. I know you can say, well, that's actually a decent amount, but at the same time, it really isn't a lot when you consider it. Or you could see maybe a guy like Phil Kessel is a bad example. He's an 89, but maybe a guy like Ole Mata, no, another terrible example. Maybe Trevor Daley, 85. Maybe he'd go down to an 81, 82. And you see guys like Chris Kunitz, an 84, or Justin Schultz, an 83 is a terrible example. They haven't upgraded him all year. Is that a joke, EA? I think that's a joke. I think they're just messing with us. Matt Cullen, maybe 81. That might be a good example. Maybe somebody like Matt Cullen should be maybe a 73, 74 range, one of the lower overalls on a team. That help balance it out, especially for teams that have a lot of 80 to 85 overalls. If they see more in the 70s, maybe then you see teams like Colorado with an 80 overall, 81. I'd like to see somebody like Colorado, honestly, in the upper 70s. Anywhere from 75 to 80 overall next year. And you're the worst team in the league. That's where you should be. If they do roster updates and stuff, you can obviously change your overall throughout the year. I don't think the worst team in the league should be 5 overall points away from the best team in the league. That's where I'm getting at here. I think some people agree. I think some people might disagree. But I really do think there should be a revamped overall system in NHL where weighted things like that really do have a big difference on overalls. I know it's just a random rant, but I'd like to hear what you guys think about it. That was my opinion. It's come up to mind. I've seen a couple people question it as well. Came up to mind. It was like, you know what? Let's see what you guys think. I know a lot of you guys disagree with the whole Crosby thing. And as you guys know, I'm not the biggest Pens fan over here, but I vouch for the guy. I understand. I'm not going to be biased and be like, oh, I don't like the guy. I'm not going to give him an overall that's high. He deserves it. And I think personally that's how it should be, is maybe have a 99. You can have a couple, maybe best defenseman's a 99. Like I said, we give Erik Karlsson a 98. It's questionable where you put him too. Best goalie, 97, 98. And then it spreads them out from there because a lot of the goalies 90 to 91, 92. There's goalies at 87. Are they that much 3 overall points worse than an elite close to Vezina winning goalie? Of course, Bob's an 89 overall. He won the Vezina this year. And you guys got these 87, 88 overalls that were rocking 899 save percentages. That's an EA thing. But I'd like to hear you guys' opinion on it. As always, guys, let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.